Do you have a video on how to create thumbnails? I actually do have that on a list to do a video of me making a thumbnail. Yeah, I think that's the one that I'll do. That's the one I'll do Monday. I'll do that one. I'll sit down and make a thumbnail and... So hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ken with KenTheContentCoach.com, and that question came in Friday night during my Just Stream With Me live stream, which we do every Friday at 9 p.m. So if you are into content creation, questions, Q&A, channel reviews, things like that, or if you want to be a live streamer, come hang out Friday nights at 9. Biz LaChance asked that question during that Friday stream, and so today in this video we're going to talk about how I create thumbnails. Now obviously before we get into this, there are so many ways to create thumbnails, so many different things that work. This video is going to be just me showing what I do, what I like in thumbnails. Thumbnails are something that I kind of experiment and play around with a lot, but currently I'm settled on sort of a base design that I really like. I like to keep it simple. There's a few things that I do think are important. We're going to talk about that. Now, if you're into this type of content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you will never miss a video or a live stream. Now, there are 4 things that I think are important in thumbnails. I think number 1, we have to keep it simple. You don't want to overdo it with text, overdo it with a bunch of pictures or a crazy background or nothing like that. You want to keep it simple because the purpose of a thumbnail is to grab attention quickly and so that people will have a general idea of what the video is so they'll know if they want to click that thumbnail. That is the point of a thumbnail. So the second part is text. I don't like too much text on a thumbnail, and this is something that I have over time sort of gotten better at. I used to try to pile text on so that people would know exactly what it is. The problem is people don't know what it says if there's too much text because it's crowded, too hard to read. People are going to pass that by. So I try to keep it 4 words or less, which this video is going to be that. We're actually making the thumbnail for this video. Number 3, I do like to have a picture of myself in the thumbnail. I think that your audience gets familiar with your face. In my case, I get a lot of comments about the fact that I have the beard, the backwards hat. I think people get to know who you are as a creator. Having your picture lets them see when it comes up in their feed, oh, there's Ken, or oh, there's Biz, or whoever. Whatever video they come across, they'll see your face, they'll know that's you. And the 4th thing is a simple background. Now the background, there's a few things that I like to do. Sometimes I use gradient, just colors from Canva. Sometimes I'll use a background of a picture that I've taken or my studio or something like that. Today we're gonna do a studio look, and I'm gonna show you kind of the way that I separate so that it doesn't overpower. But you wanna make sure that your background does not overcrowd the thumbnail and make the text hard to read, or basically just take over the whole thumbnail so that it just doesn't look right. So I'm going to show you a technique that I use for that. So to do all this, let's go ahead and jump over to Canva. Now I know in a video before I've talked about there was a different platform that I used to use. I have since then changed my complete mind on what is best to use for thumbnails. For me, it's Canva. Absolutely love Canva. Now I do have the pro version. Some of the things that I'll do in this video, you do have to have the paid version for, but again, I'll share some resources. So if you want to remove backgrounds or things like that, you'll be able to do that without having to pay for the version. All right, so let's make a thumbnail. Now to get started, usually what I'll do is I have graphics in here already, and I'll just kind of go through and pick that one and start from there. In this one though, I'm going to start brand new. So we're going to create a design. Now, it's very important that you pick the right design to make your thumbnail. Your thumbnails can be 720. If you look at YouTube's words on this, they can be 720. I prefer full 1080. So the one that I typically pick is presentation 16:9, which does give you that 1920 by 1080 aspect. So we're going to start there with a brand new project. So I'm going to start with a picture that I took this morning. And so I'll show you here first. Basically, I set my cameras up. I'll set my Canon M50 up first. I'm going to take a few shots. I'm going to turn on my lights, make sure that my background is lit up properly, and then I'm going to take a few pictures, and then we'll bring those in and see which one I like the most. So we can go to uploads and then upload media in Canva. And the pictures that I took on my Sony are going to be here. So I went through a few of these. I didn't like the first couple. This one's okay. That one's kind of blurry. This one's okay. What I really did though is I like this last one. So I'm going to import this picture. This is one that I took for this thumbnail. So I'm going to open that and you will see that upload into Canva. Now I'm going to click that picture to bring it in. But there's one more thing I'm going to do with this because I want to make sure that the background does not overpower. I'm going to actually make the background lighter than myself in this picture. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to copy this photo and I'm going to paste it. So now I have 2 copies of it. All right, I'm going to make one of these the background because I want that to take up the entire thumbnail. Now I'm left with this picture here that is not the background. I want to take the background out though because I don't want 2 backgrounds, right? So what I'm going to do is click that photo. I'm going to edit image. and I'm going to use the background remover in Canva. Now, the background remover in Canva is part of the paid version, so if you don't want to pay for Canva, if you want to be able to use the free version, there is another resource you can use to remove backgrounds from photos, and that is remove.bg. I will throw down a link in the description so you can check that out. It's a free resource. It works great. I've used it before, and it really, really does work. All right, so now we're left with the photo. The background is stripped from this one, and you have just me here. So this is what I'm going to do. The reason that I did this is because I want to separate myself from the entire photo. So I'm going to drag that so that it is the entire photo. Essentially what happened here is that I'm still in that photo. It covers up because it's the same size. So I have a free floating image on top, and I want to kind of drown that out so the background is not overtaking the photo. So I'm going to I'm going to go to Elements. Now in Elements, you can find all kinds of pictures. If you want to use a different type of background or if you want gradient, you can search. In this case, all that I'm looking for to separate me from that background is a shape. Now right here you have lines and shapes, so I'm going to bring this square in. All right, now we have the square, and so I'm going to take this square, I'm going to make it the exact height and width of the photo. So now what we have on screen, we do have the square, which I've just expanded out. It's just the brown color. Obviously that's not what we want, so I'm actually going to click that photo and change the color. I'm actually going to change it to white, and then I'm going to make it a little transparent. So you can see as I do this, my photo in the back, you can kind of see that. We'll go right around 40%. We may come back and edit that. Now you can do this whatever color you would like, any color. So let's say you wanted to add kind of a bluish hue to it. You could do that so that the background looks like that. You can go purple. I think I actually kind of like this purple. So I'm going to keep that as purple. Let's see what that looks like when I move it backwards. And there's me. I think I really like this. I think I stand out. The photo itself does not look drowned out too bad, but I still stand out from it, and we're going to add text also. Now, going back to text, I do think that text needs to be very simple. You want them to know what the video is from the text, but not give the entire video, so 4 words or less. So to do this, I'm going to add text. For now, we'll just make it a heading. I'm going to say how I made this. All right, and then we can drag this over. And now we're going to work with this text. Now, I want the text to be, for the most part, one of the most visible things on the thumbnail. So I'm going to make this sort of large so that people can't actually see that. All right, we're going to make the text, for now, we're going to make it white just so it stands out above that. And there we are. Now, I don't really care for this font. There are some fonts that I like. I think for this one, I'm actually going to go with this one. I want to size it down just a tad and bring that up because I think I am going to add one more. You can actually, in Canva, you can respace your lines so that your text is not too far apart. I'm going to go ahead and do that here, and you do that just by clicking this icon here for spacing, and your line spacing, we'll take that down to 1. You can also do letter spacing if you want to make your letters a little more or less spaced out, so you can play with that also. Now, another thing that really helps text to stand out is the outline. Now, if you go to effects, there's all kinds of different effects you can add. Under shadowing, you're going to see all kinds of different shadowing options that'll make this stand out a little bit. We can lift so that it will sort of separate it from that background, also kind of add a black view behind that. There's echo, there's splice, there's all kinds of things you can do. One of my favorites for the most part is neon. I like neon because I think it really stands out against backgrounds. Now, I don't like the white neon. So usually what I'll do is change that to sort of the same color as the background, which doesn't look good now. But if you go back to effects, you have the neon. You can bring the intensity up. And there you go. I really, really like the way that looks. I'm going to add one more word here because I want to make sure that this stands out a little bit. So I know I said 4. We're going to go 5. And let's go thumbnail. All right. So basically the title will be how I made this thumbnail. All right. So we'll do that. Bring that up, and I want to make this look different. So let's see, I think for this one I'm going to do, let's go look at our fonts. Let's try Gordita. I really like the Gordita font. I will go bold. I'm going to make this yellow. I kind of like the purple yellow combination. That's what I've been doing a lot lately. I want to add some shadowing to that just to make it stand out some more. So let's try lift, see what that does. That's okay, but it's not bright enough. So let's go back to font. Select our document color. You can actually change which yellow, and I'm going to make that brighter. So there's that really bright yellow. I still don't like the effects. I don't like the outline, so we're going to change that from lift. Let's try shadow, and we'll make the shadow black. That's a little better. Let's take some transparency off and we'll move some offset around. And you can come in here and play around with these shadows and the offsets and directions and things like that to get the exact view that you want. I think I'm good with that. No blur, no transparency. That word does stand out. I can even make that a little bit bigger if I would like. And it's okay for me if it's sitting on top of me a little bit. And we'll do it just like that. I'm gonna stand out here. One more thing you can do, and I'll actually do this here. You can actually add shadowing to your photos. So let's see what that would look like. We'll go edit image, shadows, and add a drop shadow. We'll give that a second to do its thing. All right, there you go. Now you see the drop shadow. Let's resize it so that I'm actually covering. All right, so let's bring that in. So now you can actually see, even on top of the background, you can see a shadow behind me. We have our text. We have how I made this thumbnail. I like this. So this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, so now we're done with this thumbnail. I'm actually going to export this so I can bring it into the video. So here I'm going to click share. I'm going to click download. Now the important part of YouTube is that the thumbnail can only be a certain size. It cannot be more than 200 megabytes. This one, it says PDF because it is a presentation. I'm going to change this to a JPEG. I like PNG files, but they're usually too large for YouTube. So I will go JPEG. And then you want to look at your size. It is 1920 by 1080. The quality, I'm going to take it to 100%, file size large. And I'm going to download this. This is going to download to my downloads folder on my Mac, so it'll be there. When I'm ready to upload this video, I'll just have to select the thumbnail from there. That thumbnail will be ready, it'll be uploaded, looking exactly like it does now. Now again, it's important to remember there are many ways you can make thumbnails, so many different styles. So literally the best thing you can do is play around with whatever you use to make thumbnails with. Play around with different styles, different text, different placement of pictures, things like that. Truly find your style. Find what works. You can figure that out by your click-through rate on YouTube. Now, earlier in the video, I did say that I have a resource you can use to test out your thumbnails before you upload them. So if you go ahead and check out this next video that'll pop up on screen, this video will walk you through the process of testing your thumbnail to make sure that your text and pictures and everything is out of the way so that you can upload this and know that it's going to look good across all the different formats of YouTube. That will help you out with that. So hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this helps. As always, remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Just hit record, and we'll see you guys for the next video.